Hey everyone, welcome back to another Ask Mevo Anything. I'm Joseph Capar. I'm the Senior Technical Specialist here at Mevo, and today we are going to be doing another single camera show, and I'm going to be showing you and talking to you all about the USB port on the back of the Mevo Start and what it's really capable of, because it's a very flexible piece of equipment, and I really want to make sure that we cover and hit each piece of this topic. As always, make sure if you have any questions, you throw those in the chat. I'd be more than happy to answer those live here today. If you have any technical questions, of course, go to help.mevo.com and someone will be happy to help you there as well. We are live today on both Facebook and on YouTube. We're using all of the overlays, so you've seen the countdown and now my lower third, and then we are using Vimeo Producer also to distribute the stream to the multiple destinations. This is all done via the Mevo 2.0 app, so you don't really need any extra software. You might see that I have a laptop here, but that's specifically only so I can monitor your questions. I've got Will over there, he's monitoring the chat, making sure I get all the questions and throwing it in a Google Doc. That way it's easier for me to keep up with what I've answered and things that I need to address if someone has a question that comes up. Just to get started, Chris says, any big announcements? Any big announcement that you might see is not going to be probably on one of these shows. If we do have a big announcement, most likely we're going to announce it via social media, and it'll probably be something a little bit along the lines of, hey, make sure you tune in next Wednesday or something like that. Giving you a little bit of a heads up. We're probably not going to just like pop a random release date or something out there, but hey, you never know. But with that said, it's a good time for me to tell you to like, subscribe, follow at Mevo Camera on all of our social channels, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, all of them, Facebook. At Mevo Camera, you can follow us, and that's where you're going to see announcements like that telling you to tune in. Make sure you tune in for a special show or a special announcement. We do go live 4 times a week. Tuesday, I do an Ask Mevo Anything similar to today, and then Wednesday, Will goes live on the multicam beta group where we talk about multicam. He goes in depth with features that are not yet released. Some of the features may not ever get released, but I want to kind of stop there and say, graphics and all that stuff, it's coming. One of those features that may not come, but we are testing a lot of things that multicam or the single cam can't do yet. So Will demonstrates all of that stuff in his show and shows you the things that we are testing, so you can get a kind of an idea. And of course, if you plan on using multicam, make sure you go to the group, give us your feedback, because that's the way to get your direct feedback heard, and then we can make adjustments for the app. You can make a direct impact on what the Mevo multicam beta becomes, and that goes for the same for our webcam betas or any betas that we have. If you want to be heard and you want to see some changes, those betas are the ones that you want to make sure you're participating in, so we get your feedback. Brent says, hi from Arkansas, status of the Windows app. Okay, Brent, so we actually do have that available for our webcam users in our beta. So if you're in Facebook right now, if you're viewing on Facebook, go up to the search bar and type in Mevo Webcam Beta Group, and you should be able to access the very first release for wireless webcam for Windows. We do not yet have this on our website because it is the first release, but once it is, tested by hundreds of people, we would be more than happy to put it on the website. But for now, you can absolutely go access it, test it on your system, and see what you think. Hopefully you're liking it. I have it on my system at home. I'm a Windows user myself, and I'm loving it. Chris says, iPad Mevo app runs on the M1 Mac. Yes, we've had reports of this. Not extremely stable. We've heard mixed results. It's technically not supported. Will it be updated to offer the same experience as with the iPhone or with phones and iPad on the Mac? Pair new cams. So the M1 Mac does work, or does allow you to download the Mevo app. However, we don't technically support this feature. Some users have found it, or we've had mixed results reported. Some users have successfully used it, some users have had issues with it. At this time, that's not something we're actively working on. We have a lot of betas out there right now with webcam, multicam, and a lot of other things. We just started a hardware beta. So at this time, that's not something we're actively addressing, is trying to get Mevo 2.0 on Mac M1 computers. But it's definitely something that we've heard, and I mean, I personally would like to see it. I do have a laptop that's a Mac, not an M1, but maybe one day. If we can get our boss to go ahead and purchase one, we'll see. I know Will keeps pushing Nate to do that. So yeah, it would be great I'd love to see it on the M1. I think it's really cool. I know when M1 first came out, our users were excited and shared some videos of them using it. But as it stands right now, Mevo 2.0 on an M1 device is not, on an M1 computer is not a priority at this time. But we're always trying to look for ways to improve things with the Mevo 2.0 app and the Mevo product line in general, so it's not to say that that won't ever happen. Barnes from YouTube says, can you use most iPads to connect with the Mevo Start? So the Mevo 2.0 app requires you to have iOS 11 or newer. I know at one point it was a conversation where we weren't sure if we were going to continue to support 11 because 12. Of course, that could continue all the way to 13 and 14. But as it stands, iOS 11 is the bare minimum iOS that is required to run the Mevo 2.0 app. So yes, you can absolutely connect your Mevo Start with an iPad as long as it has iOS 11. Luckily, with iOS devices, the hardware's pretty the system, the iOS for that example, is pretty standard across the board. It doesn't really change. So as long as it supports iOS 11, then you should be good to go. Okay, so for today's show, let me get rid of this overlay here. So for today's show, we're going to talk about the USB-C port on the back of the Mevo Start. We're going to talk about all the ways that you can use it. And in those methods, I'm going to talk about the adapters that you can use, ways that you can introduce additional power sources to your Mevo Start if the 6 hours isn't good enough and you need more and more. I know it's spring sports right now, a lot of tournaments going on that's longer than 6 hours and you really want to push it. So we're going to talk about how you can use the USB port on the back to add additional power. We're going to talk about using Ethernet via the USB port. We're going to talk about using it for webcam mode. We're going to talk about using it for audio, additional audio sources. And we're going to talk about powering and actually using your Mevo for something other than a camera. And I was telling Will about it earlier. I'm actually it's not an uncommon thing for me to do to grab me a Mevo Start that's fully charged and walk around New York City and use it as a power bank. It's got 6 hours of battery life. So I power that bad boy up and I plug my phone into it and it charges my phone all day. So I don't have to really worry about it. I can even use, so it's like just one of those random use cases that you can do is use your Mevo as an actual power bank itself, which is pretty cool. Okay, so for the first one I want to cover today, we are going to talk about USB-C to USB-A adapters. So the Mevo Start does have a USB-C adapter or USB-C port on the back. This is a quick charge capable port. But like I mentioned, that list of things, there's a lot of ways that you can use this. And one of it is using an audio source or something like that via the USB-C port and using a USB-A adapter. A lot of users for Mevo Start have come from a Mevo Boost, which has a USB-A input for audio. And a lot of those users want to now use that audio input for the Mevo Start. And you can absolutely do that by using an adapter like this. So you've got the USB-C port, you plug it in, and now you have a USB-A adapter. Now, I do want to warn, if you use something like this, make sure you secure your cable, like example, something like this. Make sure you're securing it to the mounting mechanism that you're using. With a port like that, it's giving it a little bit more slack and it's going to pull down and gravity is going to do its worst against that port. So by securing it to the stand itself and the mounting mechanism that you're using, it's going to really kind of avoid that extra pressure on that port so it doesn't like break loose. So that's something definitely to try to avoid if you're using one of those adapters. We personally do use these adapters. We've used it for initial testing here. This actual brand, I believe, is it Anchor? Who is this? Yeah, Anchor. So this particular brand is the same exact ones that we actually use here. I've used it for audio inputs. I've used it for many things. And it's even great if you have a Mac computer or something like that. You can also use it to plug in your Mevo in webcam mode for Mac computers that only have USB-C ports. So you can do things like that and use that USB-C to the USB-A adapter. Tim Flanagan says, getting my Mevo today. That's awesome, Tim. Welcome to the family and welcome. And hopefully you enjoy and have a lot of great streaming experiences with your Mevo. Thanks for tuning in and thanks for participating. I love it. I can't say it enough. I say it every time I go live. This is the best time of the day. Going live and interacting with everyone, talking about Mevo is the best time. Otherwise, I'm just kind of hanging out with a bunch of cameras and they don't really get to talk to me. So I get really talkative, I talk fast, I talk excited. So thank you for tuning in, thanks for participating. Smyrna says, watching from the Dominican Republic. Wow, that's awesome in the DR. What is the big announcement? There is no big announcement today. I wish there was. I have no big announcement, I apologize. No, so if there's going to be a big announcement, that's something we'll probably put on social media before we do a live show. We go live every Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. So we go live 4 times a week. We go over various different topics. Today we're talking about the USB port. Tomorrow we'll talk about an advanced audio processing with external audio sources and even the internal audio options. But as far as an actual extreme announcement, like a product release or something, that's not something we're doing today. But if you follow, like, subscribe at Mevo Camera, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, all of those things. Dan, our marketing individual who handles all of our social media accounts, will be sure to let you know if there's something important, super important. Now, I'm not saying that what I'm talking about today is not important, but if you're talking about a release or something like that, I'm sure he's not going to let you miss that. David says, when would I want to activate NDI mode? If I'm live streaming to Facebook utilizing data and simultaneously recording to an SD card with Vimeo graphic overlays, is there a neat advantage of activating NDI? So NDI is not needed in this scenario. So NDI is specifically going to be used if you want to broadcast your footage from your camera, right? And you want to send it to a separate device. In your scenario, you're using your phone as the hotspot, so you're getting data from there. You're controlling it with your phone. Now, NDI would be used if you want to use something like OBS on a computer, or if you want to use Livestream Studio or vMix, Wirecast, Ecamm, a different software. You don't want to use Mevo 2.0. You want to use different software and broadcast from a computer. Now, that's when you would want to use NDI. Any other time, no need to have NDI on. You can keep it disabled. It's not a benefit. And honestly, if you have NDI on and you try to stream from your Mevo, it's going to warn you and tell you that you can't do that anyways. So NDI is not going to be a benefit to you if you try to live stream from your Mevo to anything other, or if you're trying to live stream from your Mevo 2.0 app using your phone, there's no benefit of trying to use NDI. Let's see here. Smyrno says, do you guys have any refurbished Mevo Plus on sale? I know it is discontinued, but maybe you guys have some on sale. So unfortunately we don't. Thanks for the question, and thank you, David, also for that question. We don't have any refurbished units for sale. When we discontinued the Mevo Plus, we had sold all of the refurbished units to our partners at B&H and Best Buy. They already sold out all of our Mevo Plus refurbished and our Mevo Boost refurbished. So we have no more in stock to actually sell direct. And I believe they are also sold out as well. They don't have any more refurbished units. So you won't find a Mevo Plus or a Mevo Boost from an authorized reseller. I don't believe anywhere globally right now, or anytime in the near future, or anytime in the future, because they're no longer being made. So if our resellers are sold out, they're going to be sold out, and we have no additional inventory to sell that are refurbished. Okay, so let's see here. And also, when it comes to the Mevo Plus, I don't want to think or make people think that we're not supporting that because it is discontinued. We do have inventory here for those who need warranty assistance with their Mevo Plus or Mevo Boost. So if you are within warranty and you have an issue, please open a ticket. We'd be more than happy to help you. We just don't have any additional objects or Mevo Plus or Boost to sell. But we do have some here if we do need to replace a unit that is within warranty. Okay, so we talked about the Mevo USB, or the Mevo USB using an adapter USB-C to USB-A. A second use case would be to use a USB power bank for additional external power for longer battery life. So the Mevo Plus had a 1 hour battery life, and then it had the Mevo Boost, which had anywhere between 9 to 10 hours of extra battery life. The Mevo Start is not compatible with the Mevo Boost. So those who need more than 6 hours can use the USB port and use something like this. The Mevo Start doesn't care where its power is coming from as long as it's receiving power. So you can absolutely use a mobile device or a power bank like this, or even something larger, and plug it in and power your Mevo for an extended period of time. You could run around with a couple of these. I mean, these things only run like $15 to $20 depending on the brand and the size, but you could get days on days of power if you had power banks like this. You could charge a power bank while you're, if you have two of them, you can kind of rotate in and out and never run out of power. So that is another way that you can use the USB port on the back of the Mevo Start, is using a power bank. Barnes from YouTube says, can you use a USB-C to USB-C cable to connect to my Android phone and charge it while streaming? Yes, technically, you can absolutely use a USB-C to USB-C cable to use your Mevo Start to charge your phone while streaming. There is an option in the Mevo app that is called Power External USB Devices, which is what I'm going to talk about shortly. And you can absolutely charge an external device, and that would be your phone. Now, that's not to say that your phone won't drain faster than the Mevo's charging it. So it may only slow it down. You may not actually see a charge. It might just slow down the speed that it discharges. But you can absolutely use it and pull charge from the Mevo Starts battery. Dave says, when does your team play in the next round of the NCAA tournament? That is not a very nice question, Dave. Thanks for tuning in. Unfortunately, the powers that be did not want Ohio State to make it past the first round, which I think everybody just about seen that coming based on the last 4 games that they played. But hey, what can you do? But hopefully, I've noticed spring football is coming around the corner. We're going to have some spring football games coming up. I'm going to head back to Ohio and make sure I can watch that if they have an in-person audience. Dennis says, YOLO Live, YOLO Box, smart multi-camera live streaming studio tablet with 3 Mevos. I've heard of their product and their bundle. I've not used it, not familiar with it. I've just seen it. Yeah, so I don't. If you have any specific questions for their actual configuration, you probably could reach out to them. But if it's a Mevo related question, more than happy to answer it. I'm just not familiar. I've never used their bundle. We don't have any here from that company. EP wired webcam. Okay, so wired webcam mode is limited at 720p. That's for both Mevo Start and Mevo Plus and Mevo First Gen. Just kind of something that I'll kind of like a quick fact if you haven't been around Mevo. So the Mevo wasn't originally designed to be a webcam. The Mevo webcam feature came about when the pandemic first hit. Our company really wanted to come together and release a product and make sure that, and release a feature, right? We wanted to make sure that users could stay connected. We wanted to keep people connected. We wanted our users to have a way to stay connected with those they love. And webcam mode came about that way. The Mevo wasn't initially designed to be used that way. The Mevo First Gen has been discontinued for a couple of years. The Mevo Plus now discontinued. Those both received webcam mode as well. And it was just something that we could, it's just something that we could use to keep people connected. So we are always, of course, trying to advance, and if we can introduce 1080 to wired webcam, there's no reason we won't. But as it stands, 720 is the limit. And if 1080 ever comes about, we are absolutely going to release it. It's not something we're holding back from you. If that's an ability that we can make work and make it work well, we don't want to release something that could cause crashes or anything like that. But if we can find a way to deliver 1080 in a stable manner and a way that can be useful for people, we're going to absolutely do it. John says, if it's plugged into an external battery, will it pull from external first or the internal battery? So it's going to pull from the external first. Yeah, so that's a great question, actually. It's absolutely going to use the power coming from the wall before it tries to use the internal battery, which is why, if you notice that your camera is getting hot, you really want to make sure that, like if you're in a hot scenario, in general, add external power to it. That way it's not using the internal battery. Like if you're outside all day and you're using your Mevo and you find that like the heat is just unbearable and the Mevo is struggling, then introducing external power like this power bank here could definitely help the temperature. Now, if your Mevo's already too hot to the point where the battery's getting very warm, then the battery's not gonna charge as well. So it's kind of like a catch-22. You want to make sure if you intend to be in a hot environment, that introducing external power before getting into that hot environment would be beneficial. If your Mevo's already hot and you're having overheating issues because of something like a temperature or the environment is just too much for the Mevo or for any electronic at that point, if a Mevo's experiencing it, odds are a lot of electronics are experiencing it in that kind of heat, then introducing external power after the fact is probably not going to be very beneficial. Otto says, go Will Roberts. Stay classy, Otto. Stay classy. I'm not wearing Ohio State stuff ever again. I am done. Done. Smyrna says, low light winner between Mevo Plus or Start. Mevo Start. The Mevo Start 100% has better low light performance. The sensor size and everything plays a big part into that. So if you're looking for a low light performance, the Mevo Start is going to be better than the Mevo Plus. Dennis says, would you recommend using an aux touchscreen Android tablet with your Mevo app? I do not know. Are you familiar with an aux touchscreen Android tablet? Nope. I'm not sure, Dennis. We don't have, we have some Samsung Tab A's here. Love it with the Mevo multicam app, love it with the Mevo 2.0 app. I'm not sure if you can provide a link to the actual model. Maybe that's something we can order and test out and let you know. If you already have one, if you want to test out and let us know, that'd be great. As far as like Android versus iOS, as far as like the actual experience, I'm an Android user through and through. I do have a Mac computer, but that was provided to me by the company. But as far as like personal devices, I use PC at home, I use Android tablets, and I use Android phones. So when it comes to using Mevo, every time I have to do a test, I'm almost always doing it on Android first. Will's opposite. He's completely an Apple fanatic. Some might say an Apple elitist. So he primarily uses iOS first when he has to do something. So we have a wide variety of users here that use different things. I prefer Android every time, but both experiences are extremely similar. You're not going to see us say use this over this because of this. You're going to get the full experience from both sides. But I will say multicam currently does look really good on a Samsung tablet. My one night only on YouTube says, loving using a couple starts with eCam for all live music streams. So awesome. I'd be interested to know what platform you stream to with live music. Are you doing like covers or original music? Definitely share. I know a lot of our streamers and a lot of our users try to stream, and even when there's like passive music going on in the background, sometimes they get kicked off, specifically on Facebook. We have been guilty of getting kicked off of Facebook before for music, even though it's copyright free. So yeah, no, if you're live streaming music, I'd be very interested in what platform you prefer, and then also let us know what kind of music. Is it original music, or is it covers or something like that? Okay, so now we talked about power banks. Oh wow, we are at 30 minutes. I've only went through 2 of these. I really thought that I was gonna get through this list in like 5 minutes and then I have nothing to talk about, but here we are. Okay, so here we go. We talked about the power bank. We talked about USB-C to USB-A. Now let's talk about the USB-C to USB-B. Okay, so a lot of people, like I was mentioning earlier, are already using USB powered devices with their Mevo Boosts. Now, if you're trying to make a transition to a Mevo Start, which has a USB-C opposed to the USB-A input, then you can use a cable like this to take something like a USB mixer or soundboard, such as the Xenix 502 USB series, or the Xenix 802 or 1202, or the Scarlett 2i2, or whatever it might be. If it has a USB output and it doesn't require special drivers, you can absolutely use an adapter like this and accomplish the same exact thing. Instead of the USB-B to the USB-A output, you can replace the cable entirely with a cable like this. I've already tested this with all of those, and it works 100%, and it removes the need for that previous adapter, the USB-A to USB-C, which is still a really nice option. They're about the same price, but it really just depends on what you're trying to do. If you're just using a soundboard or a mixer, you're probably gonna wanna get this cable. But if you're using various different adapters with your Mevo Start, then maybe the USB-C to USB-A adapter is more accessible and like easier to use for your specific use case. Whew. Should have brought some water. Killing it though, killing it. Last but not least though, for this topic, is for the USB-C port, you can use the Mevo PoE adapter. This is the power Ethernet adapter that allows you to both power your Mevo and to, or you're powering it and sending data. So it allows you to use that Ethernet, and it allows you to use the power. So you only have a single port, right? So if you're trying to charge it and use like a third-party adapter, do that. A lot of the adapters don't work that way. Our hardware team here is very talented. As far as I'm aware, this USB-C power over Ethernet adapter is a one of a kind as far as I am aware. If I'm wrong, I apologize. But in my mind, they're always the leading team when it comes to innovation. This adapter is available now on Amazon, also available on Mevo.com. You can get those today. It allows you to both power and send Ethernet data for the most stable stream option possible. Especially if your Mevo's not going anywhere and it's static. If you're using it in the same environment, in the same setting every time, you should absolutely avoid using wireless. Like if it's not moving, you might as well make it more static by making a cable. Now what makes this really cool is you can run an Ethernet cable obviously a lot further than you can run a USB cable. So this allows you to run a Cat5, Cat6 cable, right? You can run that up to 300 feet and run it into this PoE adapter, and the PoE will send power and Ethernet much further than what you would be able to get with the USB, which is limited at like 15 feet. If you go any longer than that, then you need a USB booster, and you're just getting real complicated, and that's just one more variable that can fail. Now you can run a Cat5, Cat6 cable to a PoE adapter, and you can both power and send data, and you're using a single cable. And it also allows you to put your Mevo in a place that's also maybe not accessible to a power strip or a power port, which means you're not gonna be able to plug it in anyways. So if you're putting it somewhere on the ceiling where there's probably not an outlet, the PoE is obviously the correct solution for you. And then, of course, with this design in mind, the Mevo can stay on 24/7 if you want. However, we do have a built-in power, remote power on and off, and this is based on if it detects power. So if you just remove power from the Mevo, regardless if it's 300 feet in the sky or whatever it might be in your rafters, if you remove power from it, the Mevo will power off after like 15 seconds, 10 or 15 seconds, I'm not sure the exact number. And then if you reintroduce power, then the Mevo will power back on, and you can use it as expected. Or you can just leave it powered on 24/7 and just be on your way. But using the power over Ethernet adapter, using Ethernet in general, is just, of course, the Mevo is very popular for being wireless, which is great. But if you're trying to use it for a professional setting, or you're trying to use it in a setting that never changes, then there's no reason to want to deal with wireless. You should go Ethernet 100% of the way. For this specific one, I am using a power over Ethernet adapter. So I am running Ethernet, and then I'm also running this USB microphone, the Blue Yeti Nano. But we're not using the USB for this one because we're running the PoE back there. We're using this 3.5, which I'm touching the microphone, which is probably bad practice. But I'm using this monitor out into the Xenix 502 USB board, which is also going output into the 3.5 on the back of the Mevo Start. Now that brings me to my last example. I guess this wasn't the last one after all. I don't have a picture for this one because I don't have a brand that I can recommend right now. But just like in the USB port on the Mevo Plus or the Mevo Boost, you could use a USB-C adapter that has an audio input. As long as that adapter doesn't require special drivers, the Mevo will allow that capture card to take a 3.5 input into the USB and use that audio source. Sean says, I attend jazz festivals and would like to use the Mevo at these live events. Will there be any issues with sound, picture, or noise cancellation? Not that I'm aware of. I mean, the best thing you can do is take your Mevo and go run a test on your own environment. There's no reason, I guess I don't understand the picture cancellation, if you could elaborate on that. But as far as sound cancellation, noise cancellation, I removed the back. I need a new back case for my laptop. It's super broken. But as far as like noise cancellation and things like that, we do have a few really nice settings in the Mevo app. We've got I've got aux on here, but it should be general speech in wind. So if you set those accordingly, then the internal microphones will capture those in the best setting possible. We do have audio engineers or engineers here that have tested these in various environments, and they've had great success. Now, of course, you can still introduce external audio sources and control it that way. Woo! All right. I think I definitely just peaked there. Okay, so it looks like we're at 35 minutes. Please, before I close things out for the day, if you have any last minute questions that you want to throw in the chat, please make sure you do that. Before I close out, make sure you put all the questions in the chat. That way Will can get them to me and I can get those answered before we close out for the day. I should probably throw this out there. If you find yourself already recommending users to use the Mevo camera, and you're doing this all the time. I know as a Mevo user myself, often when I have the Mevo out and about, people are like, what kind of camera is that? And they want to know about it. So if you find yourself recommending the Mevo to people already, and you're doing this pretty regularly, you may as well go ahead and earn yourself 5% commission. So the Mevo referral program at mevo.com/refer or /referral, you can sign up, get a custom coupon code, whether it's for your YouTube channel, your baseball team, whatever it might be, your Twitch channel. If you're trying to share a discount code with your subscribers and followers, then you can go ahead and do that. Create a custom code. Like mine would probably be Joe Mevo free cam. Well, no, that's not real, is it? Joe Mevo, save 5, I don't know. Something cool like that, right? So you can get 5% off, and then they can earn, or you can earn 5% back. So you're saving them money, you're earning yourself some money, so you may as well go ahead and take advantage of that at mevo.com/referral. Okay, so it looks like we got one more question left. Hal says, questions, were there supposed to be Sling Studio support? So, not that I'm aware of. So Sling Studio requires HDMI output, and the Mevo, none of the Mevo products have HDMI outputs at this time. So when it comes to Sling Studio support, as far as I'm aware, Mevo is not compatible in any way. However, if Sling Studio ever introduces NDI input, then Mevo Start can absolutely send it there. Or if they have like a RTMP server or ingest, then the Mevo can stream to the RTMP server. But as it stands, they only accept HDMI. Correct me if I'm wrong out there. I'm not a Sling Studio user. But they only accept HDMI as far as I'm aware, so that would make the Mevo incompatible with their platform. All right, so we talked about a lot of things today. We talked about the Usbc to USB adapter. We talked about USB power banks. We talked about Ethernet via USB, webcam via USB, audio via USB, and then power external devices via USB. So you can even power your phone while you're using it. That was a lot to talk about. If you enjoyed today's topic, please let us know. That means that maybe I should jump a little bit deeper and talk about examples and show you how to actually hook those up and configure them in the app. So if it's something you'd be interested in seeing, let us know, and that's something that we can address in future shows. We do go live 4 times a week, like I mentioned previously. Tuesdays is an Ask Mevo Anything like this. And then Wednesdays, Will goes live to the multicam beta group, only to that group, and he shows you new and upcoming features that we're testing internally. And then on Thursdays, we're doing this again, where I'm at right now, answering questions. And then on Fridays, we do an advanced audio questionnaire with Joseph, our technical specialist, who is an audio engineer. He's been doing audio engineering. He's done it for TV shows, movies, and all types of things. So if you have something technical you want to ask audio related, that's the best time to do it. If you have any technical questions, as always, please go to help.mevo.com, open up a ticket. Myself, Will, or Joseph would be more than happy to answer those. If you're looking for news updates or anything like that, make sure you like, follow, subscribe at Facebook, Twitter. I almost said Twitch. We don't have a Twitch. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube at Mevo Camera. And that's where you're going to find all of these are saved on there as videos on demand. So you can watch these and watch me and Will and Joseph all the time if that's something you want. We try to bring you as much content as possible. But until the next live stream, thank you all for tuning in. I'm Joseph Capehart, and we will see you tomorrow.